It was supposed to be one of the happiest evenings of our lives. My parents had come over to celebrate our wedding anniversary, and I had planned a small dinner at home. The table was set beautifully, candles flickering, soft music playing in the background. My wife, Sarah, looked stunning in a red dress, smiling and chatting with my parents as if nothing could ruin the night. I was proud, thinking we had come a long way together. Little did I know, that night would become the worst memory of my life. Throughout the evening, I noticed Sarah glancing at her phone more often than usual. At first, I ignored it, thinking maybe one of her friends was texting her about the anniversary. But then, during dinner, she excused herself and went to the living room. I followed after a few minutes, only to find her standing way too close to a man I didn't recognize. He had his arm around her waist, whispering something in her ear while she laughed. My heart sank. I froze in disbelief. My parents were still at the table, probably wondering why I hadn't returned. I wanted to believe I was misunderstanding the situation, but then it happened. Sarah kissed him. Not a friendly peck, but a deep, passionate kiss, right there in our home. My legs felt weak, my chest tight. My parents walked in at that exact moment, and the room fell silent except for the sound of my mother's gasp. The man smirked, as if proud of himself, while Sarah pulled away, suddenly realizing what she had done in front of everyone. My father's face turned red with anger. My mother looked heartbroken. I could feel my dignity shattering right there. I didn't shout. I didn't scream. I simply told the man to get out of my house, my voice trembling but firm. He walked out slowly, not even apologizing. Sarah tried to explain, saying it was a moment of weakness, that she had been feeling neglected lately. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Neglected? On the night I had arranged for my parents to be here to celebrate our marriage? My father stood between us, telling her there was no excuse for such disrespect. The rest of the evening was painfully silent. My parents left soon after, my mother giving me a long, tight hug, whispering, "You don't deserve this." I sat in the living room, staring at the candles I had lit just hours ago. They were still burning, but for me, the warmth of our marriage had already gone out. Sarah kept trying to talk to me over the next few days, sending long messages and apologizing. But every time I pictured that kiss, every time I remembered the look on my parents' faces, I felt sick. I knew I couldn't stay married to someone who could betray me so easily, and so publicly. 1 week later, I filed for divorce. I didn't care about the gossip or the judgment from others. My pride, my self-respect, and my peace mattered more. When Sarah was served the papers, she broke down, saying she never thought I would go through with it. But I had no choice. She didn't just break our vows, she humiliated me in front of the two people who mean the most to me. During the divorce process, I stayed with my parents for a while. My mother cooked my favorite meals, and my father quietly supported me, though I could see the disappointment in his eyes, not at me, but at the fact that my marriage had ended this way. They both reminded me that I was still young, that I had a future beyond this betrayal. Sarah tried to fight for some of the property, but I didn't even care about losing a bit of money. I just wanted a clean break. The sooner I could close this chapter, the better. I signed whatever I needed to sign, as long as it meant I could move on. When the divorce was finalized, I felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. I had loved her once, deeply. But love without trust is nothing. No matter how much I replayed the night in my head, there was no version of it where I could forgive her. Months passed, and I began rebuilding my life. I started going out more, meeting new people, focusing on my career. My parents stood by me through it all, never once making me feel like I had failed. If anything, they were proud that I had the strength to walk away. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about how quickly things can change. One moment you're celebrating love, and the next, you're watching it die right in front of you. But I've learned that staying in a broken relationship only deepens the wound. Walking away might hurt at first, but it's the only way to truly heal. Looking back now, I'm glad I ended it that night, even if it took me a few days to make it official. My marriage was over the moment she kissed that man in front of me and my parents. And while that memory will always sting, it's also a reminder that I deserve better, much better. Now, when I celebrate anything, I make sure it's with people who value me, respect me, and would never think of betraying me. Because life is too short to waste on those who don't see your worth. And Sarah. She became just a name in my past, a chapter I'll never reopen.